The story opens with Lok connecting to Awa in a dream. He and Nidia are flying on Iran through the vast horizons of Pandora, challenging each other and having fun as they land. And just as Lok is about to wake, Nidia asks how he died. Lok recounts the entire story, confessing that he was shot and believing it was his fault. Nia assures him it wasn't his fault, and hugs his brother. Lok wakes up, filled with guilt over Nut's lost life. Meanwhile, on the shores, Kiri and Spider sit together. Spider wishes he could connect to Awa. Nadi continues to grieve deeply from Natum, while Jake goes silent, burying himself in work to avoid his dark thoughts. He gathers guns from the sunken RDA ship. Lok and Soraya also dive to retrieve weapons from the wreck when they return with the guns and ammunition. The Met Kaina people are surprised. Tawari tells Jake that this is not the Navi way. Rono insists that Jake should be with his wife during this time, stating that the Great Mother Awa will provide for them, not these machines. Jake explains that the Sky People will return with even more ships and they cannot survive with just spears and arrows. He declares he will never be to Rook Mato again, but is determined to take revenge elsewhere. Kwa Rich and his squad continue searching for the Navi. Kwa Rich asks the commander Ardmore for a ship, but she refuses, noting that he left the last one at the bottom of the ocean. Back at the village, Eloi believes he's the one disrupting the family, but notes that they don't talk about it. Jake gives Nady a modified bow so she doesn't have to use her own, but Nady is disturbed. She doesn't feel Jake's reliance on weapons is right. She asks where Awa was when their son was killed. Nady cries that she is not in her forest. Her father's bow was lost and now she only has faith in Awa. Jake comforts her, promising he loves her until the end. Lok introduces Spider and the others to Pekin, who is now part of the token pods again. As they swim, Spider's mask malfunctions while the others search for spare mask. Lok finds one, allowing Spider to breathe again. Nady still keeps her distance from Spider Horn's blow. As Soraya arrives to announce the arrival of the Wind Traders, they all go to see large flying objects arriving with supplies for the Metkaina. Jake and the Tiri decide that Spider must go back to the Sky People because he wouldn't survive. Another mask malfunction. Spider and the children beg for him to stay, arguing. He is part of the family, but Jake insists it is too dangerous. The children oppose their parents, so Jake and Nay come up with a compromise. The whole family will escort Spider to drop him off, making it an adventure. The leader of the traders, Paylak, is unhappy because Jake is already attracted trouble, but Jake assures him he will protect them with the guns as the ships depart. Lok, Curie, and Spider wave goodbye to the villagers. During the journey, LOC senses Nadal riding his iron alongside him. At the RDA base, Kwa Rich receives intel about flying objects nearby with Jake and his children on board. As the traders pass through a narrow passage, Spider's mask issues a warning about remaining battery time. Suddenly, Nadi spots an alarm. The Ash people, the Quan clan, are approaching a battle and soon the traders try to attack the invaders. Lok babs his gun, but realizes he forgot his handheld radio. He tries to retrieve it, but it is destroyed in a fire. Disobeying Jake's orders, LOAC engages the Ash people. His Ikram is hit by an arrow and he falls, barely surviving on the ship. Everyone tries to extinguish the fires. An Ash warrior tries to kill Carrie and Tuck, but Spider saves them with a bow and arrow. Jake fights the Ash people, their leader for wrong season, and attacks with a firebomb, causing a massive explosion on the ship. Jake slides down, barely holding onto a rope. Nadi engages in a brutal fight with Ak. She's hit by an arrow, but continues fighting fiercely until the balloon on top of the ship catches fire. Kiri, Spider, and Tuck escape on an Iran. Jake's Iran saves him, but Nady is hit again and falls into the dense forest. The trader ship collapses and shatters. Kiri and the others are hit and also crash into the forest. Spider tells Locke he left his backup mask batteries on the ship. As they move, they see the Ash people assaulting their own kind. Loach hesitates to shoot Ong, but he's spotted. A chase begins through the forest. Loach eventually pulls the trigger, killing the pursuers. Ong later notices the bullet marks on her soldiers' bodies. Pardon me, Quach arrives on the scene. The Ash people chase Carrie and the others to a stream. They jump in, but the current is strong. Meanwhile, Jake searches the wreckage for Nadi among the dead Nadis. Iran wakes up upon hearing Jake's voice and she's found alive. Loke and the group reach ashore. Spider's battery is at 3% and they have no way to contact. Jake Loach decides to return to the destroyed ship. Suddenly, Jake is surrounded and attacked by Quaritch. Jake is shocked to see him alive. Nadi manages to get on her Iran and Fly K finds Spider's spare mask and realizes the children are in danger. Jake, realizing he has no time, tells K the kids are in danger from the Ash people. K demands Jake lead the way. Spider collapses, unable to breathe. As his battery dies, Kiri zones out and sees a creature. She instructs Loach to place Spider on the roots and shoves a piece of the creature into Spider's mouth. The roots illuminate and crawl into Spider's body. Kiri uses her powers and the Great Mother's energy to encase Spider in a web of. This takes a toll on Carrie's body. Loach eventually severs the roots. They think Spider is dead, but his finger moves. Spider wakes up, able to breathe Pandora's air without a mask. He is overjoyed to be like the Na'vi. Suddenly, Ash people surround them. Ong is surprised to see a human with a machine gun. Just as Ong is about to slit Spider's throat, K frees. Jake gives him a knife and sneaks behind them. Ong asks Locke how the gun works when he refuses to speak. Jake attacks K, captures Ong. However, as they try to leave, Ong grabs Qua Rich's tail and crushes his slew, the neural Q, causing immense pain. They are recaptured. Ong asks Quach again to demonstrate the guns. He teaches her and she's impressed, stating she doesn't need him anymore. Nady arrives where she was taken for treatment. The Ash people rejoice and dance while Jake and the others are tied up. Kiri uses her powers to connect to roots, causing a giant spiky flower to attack the guards. Loke grabs a knife while the Ash people are distracted dancing. Jake, K, and the group travel through the water and dense forest. While they rest, Jake tries to tell K that this world is beyond imagination, using Spider and curious proof. Quach insists he remembers who he works for. Even in a new body the next day, Na'vi people approach. It turns out to be their own ally. Quach runs away. Nadi is relieved to see the family safe, though the Navia is shocked to see Spider breathing without a mask. K returns to the city. Bridgehead. He tells the scientists to find the boy Spider, believing he's key to humans living on Pandora without masks. Dr. Norm tells Jake that mycelia took over Spider's body, changing him at a cellular level. He has even grown at Tulu. Later, Kiri goes to the spirit tree. She confronts the Great Mother, asking why she didn't save Spider, claiming she had to do it herself. A bright light appears. Kiri has a seizure. Jake and Nadi decide to tell Kiri the truth. She has no father. When Grace was pregnant, Norm did a test revealing a pathogenic birth, identical to the Avatar. She learns it was the Great Mother's will. A seed was planted, making her the daughter of Awa. Norm warns Kiri to stop connecting to the Great Mother underwater or she will die. Nadi suggests killing Spider if he's too dangerous, but Jake refuses, determined to save him. Meanwhile, Mike and Ian continue hunting coons for Amrit. Back at the Met Kina village, Tari discusses the hunting. Nadi is now able to use a bow despite her injuries. Rono questions how Kiri can do things, even to say cannot. The council decides to exile Ion for breaking coon rules, killing people on the ship. He must be sent far away. Ion leaves, saying he will not hear his song again. Loach tries to defend Ion, claiming he is a warrior who saved lives, but no one listens. Jake drags Locke away. In the heat of the moment, Jake blames Loach's disobedience for Nettie's death. Locke is devastated and leaves. Nady tells Jake to speak to him, but Jake says he has no words. Nady admits she would kill Spider to save her family. Jake tells her to stop hating. She says she hates their minds. Jake counters that he's human inside, so she must hate him too, and that her children make mistakes because they're human inside. Nadi leaves later. Jake comforts her, admitting he spoke in anger. Loke sits alone with a gun, contemplating violence, but stops Kiri and Soraya. Comfort him, telling him they need him. Loke and Sori build a new bow. Kiri teaches Spider how to connect with animals. Kog attacks other Na'vi clans to find Spider. He eventually approaches the Ash people again with a bag of guns. He's captured and taken to Barong. He offers her unlimited weapons to impress her. He signals a sniper to kill a man. Ong takes him to a hut filled with dark, magical objects. She blows a powder into his nose, causing hallucinations. Ong reveals her backstory. A fire burned their forest and took everything. Her people starved and Awa did not come. She learned fire, magic, and declares she is now the fire herself. She calls a weak mother of weak children. Ridge tells her that humans are here to help her and offers equals weapons to spread her fire and kill Awa. They form an alliance. Tokens arrive to bond with Awa. Nadi practices tirelessly. Sori tells Lok that her spirit sister heard Pian's faint song heading toward his birth clan. Lok gives Nader the repaired bow. He then leaves to find Pian. Tari stops Jake from chasing him, saying Lok has the strength of his ancestors. Lok travels through high waves, believing Pian is returning to his original home. Meanwhile, Spider wonders if Nadi would love him if he were blue. Kiri kisses him, saying he is perfect. Suddenly, ash people surround him. Spider hides Kiri and surrenders himself to save her. He's caught by Kog. Kiri watches them leave the sky. People arrive with a massive fleet. Kiri tells Jake that they took Spider Kog hands. Spider over to the soldiers and heads to the Navi village. Kog and Ong reach the shore. Jake orders Nai to take the children and leave, but she refuses. Kog threatens to burn the village. Jake offers himself in exchange for the village's safety. Kog agrees, taking Jake and leaving the villagers unharmed. Kog and Wong return to Bridgehead City. The commander orders the death of all Navi, but she cannot kill them yet as they have leverage. Jake and Spider are imprisoned scientists. Test Spider, who is desperate to escape. Lok finds Pian, who reveals his clan has only one wounded survivor. Left Lok is attacked by a swarm of Akula. He hides in a tight space, fighting them off with a spear just as he's about to die. A token arrives in, saves him Sori, and the others rescue him at the base. Kay visits Spider, thanking him for saving his life. At the shipwreck, he gives a speech about Spider having lion's guts and gives him his dog tags or chain before leaving. The commander and Mike plan a mass attack on the Tolkien gathering. Ian tries to stop them but fails. Jake is displayed in a glass cage. Ridge visits him, but Jake tells him to let go, that the real Horridge is dead, and encourages him to experience the world. Nady accepts the weapons made by Jake. Spider manages to open a ventilation door. Nady ambushes 2 ash soldiers, steals their clothes, and infiltrates the city. Ian enters a machine, likely a mech or crane, to sabotage the operation. Nady attacks Farong, demanding to know where Jake is. Farong escapes and Horridge attacks Nady. She escapes on her econ and shoots a bomb into a plant, causing a massive explosion throughout the city. Chaos erupts. Nady uses the distraction to operate a large machine breaking. Jake's glass chamber soldiers open fire, but Ian uses his machine to shield Jake. Spider runs toward them. Ian guides Jake to an escape route, warning him about the plan to kill the Telecons in 2 days. As they flee, a missile is fired at them. Spider stands in front of it, forcing the officials to abort the shot. Jake and Spider run while Gorge moves towards Spider's location. As the officer prepares to fire, Nady arrives just in time, shooting the craft and rescuing both Spider and Jake. They flee the city on their Iran mid-flight. Jake orders them to land while Spider washes up nearby. Jake tells Nady that she was right. Kay will never stop hunting Spider. He believes the humans will study Spider to learn how to breathe and live on Pandora, eventually destroying it just as they did Earth. Jake makes a heartbreaking decision. He takes Nady's knife, believing this is the only way to save the planet. He calls Spider and leads him into the deep bushes. Nady, realizing what he intends to do, protests, but Jake forces Spider to his knees and begins a prayer to Awa. Spider begs him to stop. Jake hesitates, unable to bring himself to kill the boy. Suddenly, Nady rushes forward, unable to bear it either. Instead of killing him, Jake hugs Spider while Nady tells him, "I see you, Jake." Relieved, declares they will find another way to find that solution. Jake enters a cave and seeks out the legendary predator Talk. He successfully bonds with the beast, becoming Taco. Once again, he flies to the Metkina village where Tawari and his people bow in reverence. Jake orders Tawar to signal all clans that the day of battle has come. As Taru Mato, Jake unites the clans against their common enemy, regaining the trust of the people. However, they know they need the Tolkiens to fight. The elders refuse, citing that Ayan is an outcast. Loach, Rhea, and Anan stepped forward, declaring that if Ayan is out, they are out too. The elders allow them to speak. Loach reveals Pian's tragic history and introduces Pian's sister, who survived an attack by the Sky People. She shares her memories, revealing that the rest of their clan was slaughtered and she's the sole survivor. She urges them to fight as Fan does. The elders leave to deliberate. Meanwhile, the commander grounds court, forbidding him from joining the mission. Kiri meets with Rana, hinting at a destiny she must fulfill. Jake gives Loach the responsibility of watching over his family and his brother's spirit when he's gone. Thousands of RDA ships march to hunt the Tolkiens on the other side to Rumato, and the united clans prepare for war. Mix, Scoresby, and the whaling fleet approach with vast numbers of submarines in both. As they draw near, Mick notices there are no females present. Suddenly, a warning is issued. A massive pod of Tolkiens arrives, led by the matriarch. They dive deep and then surge upward, smashing into the ships. With incredible speed, the elders have decided to fight. Chaos erupts. The Tolkiens destroy the ships. One by one, the Navi clans attacked from the air and water. Mato decimate ships single-handedly. Tawari and Fan dominate the underwater battle. While Ronal fights fiercely with her sphere, Jake and Nadi take down flying gunships. The tide turns when Ong and her Ash people arrive alongside Ridge, who has disobeyed orders. They unleash a barrage of gunfire and fire bombs. The skies fill with fire and the Ash people begin to overpower. The Navi, seeing the devastation, Kiri decides she must go to the Great Mother. She leaves, with Spider leaving Talk behind. Luke and Ion tried to defend Kiri's path, taking down Sky people. With the help of Shreya and her brother, Kiri connects to the spirit tree, but is violently pushed back and suffers seizures. Spider connects to her, grounding her, and helps her move through the roots. Deep underwater, Took arrives to help them move forward. Above, Nadi engages in a brutal duel with Ong. As Kiri reaches the Great Mother, she begs for help to save her dying people. Suddenly, a bomb hits the area. The connection is severed, and the spirit tree sinks. Nadi is hit by a fireball from Ong underwater. Ronal is shot and a missile hits Fan, who appears to be killed. Ridge commands his troops to focus fire on Jake. A bomb blast knocks Jake and Taru into the water. Spider manages to save Took, but Kiri remains submerged. The injured heroes gather on the shore on the verge of defeat. Rana reveals she's dying but is about to give birth. Loach saves the injured Jake. Spider dives back in and confirms Carrie is alive and breathing underwater. With Anace's help, Ronal gives birth to a baby girl. With her dying breath, Rana asks Nadi to protect the child, then passes away. Jake praises Loach for his bravery in bringing the Tolkiens to the fight. Suddenly, Gori and Ong arrive. They have captured Tuk Koi contacts. Jake via comms demanding he brings Spider in exchange for his family. Mick Scobie and his fleet prepared to harvest Amrita using sound beams to deafen and torture the tokens. Hundreds of ships surround the whale's torpedoes, locked just as they are about to fire. The spirit tree illuminates. Awa has heard Kiri's prayer. Hundreds of Ilu surround the ships. Kiri orders them to kill the sky people. The sea creatures attack, destroying boats and dragging soldiers into the deaths. Talk regains his strength and lets out a call summoning hundreds of wild Irans to attack the Ash people. Talk destroys a massive ship. The Tolkien that Mick Scoresby previously blinded attacks Mick boat, dragging him into the water to his death. The commander orders all ships to be abandoned. Jake and Look board the flagship to save Nader and Took. Spider and Kiri follow. Jake sees Ong and Koi on the deck and orders Luch to provide cover fire. Spider radios Kay, begging him not to kill anyone, saying he's coming. Spider walks slowly towards Koi, who promises they can go home, but as they prepare to leave, Jake attacks the Ash soldiers. Luch covers him, killing the guards around Ong. Ong attacks and is about to kill her when Kiri arrives. Kiri uses her Q or tail to control Ong. Terrified by Kiri's power, Ong flees. Kay grabs Spider and takes off on an Iran. Jake mounts Yuk and pursues them. Jake dives and attacks Quer midair. Spider jumps from Qua Rich's mount to Jake's. Mount K is knocked down. All metallic objects suddenly begin to be pulled towards a highly magnetic portal or anomaly, destroying the surrounding machinery. Jake and Spider are trapped in the magnetic field. Jake falls injured. Quad approaches to finish him off, but Spider intervenes, shooting an arrow into Ridge's arm. A brutal fight ensues between Jake and Kay on floating rocks, both trading heavy blows. Spider tries to reload his bow but is knocked down. He slips and falls, but Kay jumps and catches his hand, holding onto a root with the other. Jake reaches down to help because Ridge's arm is injured. He struggles to lift Spider. Jake pulls up the root, hauling both of them to safety. For a moment, there is an awkward silence between the enemies. Tiri, Loach, and Kiri arrive. Jake signals them to stop. Kay, clinging to his own twisted sense of honor and self-respect, looks at them. Then let's go. He falls into the fire and the magnetic void, killing himself. Spider is left saddened by his. The Sully family embraces, reunited and safe. Later, the clans gathered to connect with a great mother. Tawari connects his newborn daughter to Awa. Ayan is revealed to be alive. His voice is heard, and he's fully accepted. Back into the clan, Spider connects to the spirit tree with Kiri. He sees the Great Mother and is accepted by the Navi people as one of their own. In the vision, he sees Natal and Grace, Kiri's mother. Kiri tells him that Natal's spirit is with Awa forever. Everyone sees the loved ones they lost in the war and finds peace. The clans are united as one end of movie.